part of loving a woman. It's like they're the object of your desire. I wouldn't think of having desire for somebody else other than...
What if you saw someone hot at Ralph's?
And unless I was involved with somebody.
Yeah, let's say you're involved and totally in love with someone.
I'm totally...
And you go to Ralph's, and then that particular type, I think you like him pierced, don't you?
Okay, wait a second. I would say there's a beautiful woman. But I'm not going to...
I wonder if she's on Facebook?
I'm not going to think about her, right, in the same kind of intimate thoughts. And when I'm with my wife, or I'm spending time with her, I'm not going to let her permeate my brain, because it doesn't mean anything to me. I just like looking at a work of art. I say, there's a good-looking woman. There's a beautiful Van Gogh. That's a good song by some musician. You know what I mean? It's just, that's a beautiful mountain. That's a beautiful woman. But I'm not going to be like, it's just like you're banging your wife. You're not thinking, wow. I'm thinking I'm thinking about the waterfalls in Yosemite, right? That would be like weird. It's like okay to look at the waterfall. It's even okay to go to Yosemite, but why would you want to violate that intimacy with your wife by introducing that into your brain? You know what? Let's talk about something real. Let's talk about something real. Right? I'm a huge sports fan. So are you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Would you ever, like if you're with your wife...
I find it much easier to be faithful to the Dallas Cowboys than to any woman I know. Like, I never fantasize about any other team but the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, that's something else. But if you're with your wife, right? And I'm not saying the game's on. Because that's a whole different thing. Like every guy on the planet is going to be distracted.
And with my wife, would I be wishing I could be with Tony Romo?
No, that's disgusting, right? No, what I'm saying the game is on is a whole different story, because every man on the planet, unless you're just like not into sports, is going to be like thinking about the game, even if like their wife is like with them and kissing them and stuff. They're gonna pretend like they're not into the game, but they are, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm saying the game's not even on. It was on yesterday. You're with your wife. Are you going to be thinking about... Are you going to try to think about the game while you're with her? Of course not. Right? Of course not. Because that's like... That's exactly how it should be with it.
It should be. You're right. That's how it should be.
That is exactly what
I totally agree with you. That is how it should be, what you laid out. But I'm only flesh and blood. I'm not a sadic. And a lot of people, they think, oh, Levi, he's such a sadic. So Judaism uses all five senses, much of this parsha is about what the priest should wear, and the sacrificial system, and the incense, and all that. So Judaism uses all the senses, and like for instance, when you walk into a home that observes the Sabbath, and you go there for Shabbat, Friday night dinner, like it has a distinctive smell and a distinctive feel to it. Passover has very particular taste. So I think Judaism uses all five senses. Like you come to God by putting on tefillin, you smell spices at Havdalah, you eat special foods, you wear certain clothing such as the talit. So like Judaism going at it from mass control, just all the senses. And it's so important that the children...
Wait, I got to say something this week.
Okay,
so don't close the show.
Okay.
I could feel that you were going to say something about crack. I was like, hey, don't bring in the crack line. I gotta tell you, when I was videoing with my nephew today, we were testing Ustreams. He was only on Ustreams for like a minute, right? He was just like testing it and saying, hey, this is what I can do. He goes, well, I guess it's time to sign off. Well, remember, stay in yeshiva and don't do crack. I swear, he signed off with that, and then he hit the end of the show button. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
There's something I really want to talk about this week's parsha, because when you think of Tetzaveh, there's something really special that that needs to be absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
Starting from Parshas Shmos, which is the beginning of the book of Shmos, which is the second book of the 5 books of Moses, all the way to the end of the Sefer Torah, There's only one parsha in which the name Moshe is not mentioned, and that occurs this week in Parshas Tetzaveh. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, Moshe's is named in all. Now, he's not mentioned at all in the first of the 5 books. Moses doesn't appear until like Act 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you break it down into 5 acts, right?
Yeah.
First act is like the setup. Main character appears in Act 2, Book 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
He shows up. He's in every single parsha. He is mentioned all the way until the day he dies in V'zos Bracha at the very end, right? But he's not in this week's parsha. Okay. The Talmud tells us why did that happen? Why isn't he in this week's parsha, right? And Talmud says that's as a result of something that Moshe said to God a few parshas earlier, when we are told about what happened in the aftermath of the golden calf. Remember the story of the golden calf?
Yeah.
Okay. What parsha was that? Do you remember?
No.
Wasn't that Yisro?
Yeah.
Okay. God had said to Moshe that he was going to destroy the Jewish people except for Moshe, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember this? And what did Moshe say?
I don't remember.
Moshe responded by God and said in Shmos 32:32, "If you do not forgive the people, then erase me from your book. I don't want to be part of any book. You're going to destroy all the Jewish people. So if you're going to destroy all the Jewish people and start over from me, you're not going to start over from me because I'm not going to be part of this. It's either you take all of us or you take none of us. Don't think you're going to start the book from me." So God said, really, you want me to erase me from your book? So I'm going to do that. And he went to that Parsha Tetzaveh, and every mention of Moshe that was supposed to be this week, God immediately thumbed it out. So we have to assume that Moses was actually in this week's Parsha. God deleted those Pesukim, or any mention of him from the Pesukim. And that, my friends, is why he's not in this week's Parsha.
You young people here need to study this cam as a warning of your future if you do not get busy and get married. And it's so important that the kiddies out there, the youth, the children still in yeshiva, they stay off the crack.
And it really messes up their grades.
Totally ruins, and it just...
And the next thing you know, they end up doing porn to pay for it.
Yeah, and it just like it tarnishes their neshamas, these innocent neshamas.
Yes.
So many of the children out there who are watching these videos
Will end up doing porn.
and smoking crack
and
if
then,
they don't listen to our instruction.
And what's really sad is then they'll be like standing there in front of a naked blogger while he's making his first amateur video.
Oh, it makes me so sad. Chas v'shalom. Chas v'shalom. And it's so important that they don't drop out of yeshiva and go to public school.
Right.
Okay, kiddies, don't do crack. Stay in yeshiva.
Good show?
Yeah.